Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Uh, in this video I'm going to talk about something very important, but I shouldn't say this because in every video I try to speak about something important only. Uh, Basically what I'm trying to say is it is related to whether speaking is more important, I'm sorry, whether listening is more important or reading is more important for spoken English. I mean, if you want to become a speaker of English, so where should you focus more, on listening or on reading? It's a very big question, it's a very important question, and it's a confusion also of so many people. I also used to have this confusion earlier, but now I think I can give some logical answer to it. And I think this video is definitely going to be extremely important for you. What is more important in order to become a good English speaker, or at least an English speaker? What is more important, a listening or reading? Firstly, let me clear you that both listening and reading are both very important, and they both contribute in your overall English understanding, comprehension, and overall English growth, even for speaking also. But there is a big but. Listening is more important than reading if you want to become a speaker of English. And let me tell you why. See, reading is a very recent phenomena. Firstly, let me tell you this. Reading is something, people started to write only a few centuries ago. I can't give you a specific date or something, but writing thing became quite prevalent few centuries ago only. But people have been speaking languages since thousands of years, right? But writing and reading thing is few centuries old only, as far as my understanding goes. Or let me put it this way: speaking is way older than writing and reading. I can put it this way, so that nobody comes up with a question, because it might happen that writing and reading thing might also be, if not centuries old, maybe 1,000 year old or something, and somebody might come up, oh, it is 1,000 year old. Some reading is also 1,000 year old, or writing is 1,000 year old. But what I'm trying to basically say is, I don't want to argue with anybody. You might have your own points, and I completely respect that. But what I'm trying to say is, and I'm 100% sure about that, that speaking is way older than writing and reading. Writing and reading came way later, but speaking languages it started way back in time, and way earlier than writing and reading. Firstly, so in order to become a speaker, you don't need to rely on reading or writing. Are we clear on this? That people were already speaking languages. So in order to speak any language, reading and writing that language is not an important thing. This is not a mandatory thing which will make you a speaker of a language. Are we clear on that? So reading and writing is not important. They are additional, they are add-ons, but they are not important. First thing, when people started speaking, they started to listen to others as well, to other speakers as well. And that's how the new people, the newborn babies and everybody, when they heard the language, they listened to the language, they listened to their parents, and everybody in the surrounding and everything, they also acquired the same languages, and they also started to speak the languages. How? Just by hearing, just by listening to those languages. That's how they also started to speak. So listening is the most important thing. Listening is something that will make you a speaker. Even if you don't read at all, even if you don't write at all, still you can become a speaker of any language. English is also one of the languages on this entire planet, right? So you can speak a language just with the help of listening. So listening is way more important and is mandatory, by the way. It is mandatory for you if you want to become a speaker of a language. Listening is something that is non-negotiable. Listening is something that you can't take your face away from. You will have to listen to a language as much as you can in order to become a speaker and a good speaker of a language. I think we are clear on this, that listening is definitely any day way more important than reading. A child, even in our country, like my first language is Hindi, or anybody from the native English speaking country, they have English as their native language, as their first language. So any child, who is born here or who's born there, how a child acquires a language just by listening to their parents, to everybody in the surrounding. They acquire the language, and as soon as they are able to speak that language, they start speaking the same language which is already there in their head, which they have heard, which they have listened to for a long time, right? This is the exact language that they start to speak. Of course, in the beginning they make mistakes, because they don't have any practice of speaking that language, and their body is just adapting, their mouth is just adapting, so definitely they make mistakes, and they are very small, they are only 2 or 3 years old. So with time they get better and better and better, and by the time they reach the age of 4 or 5 or 6 years old, they start to speak fantastically. They start to speak very confidently, very easily, and very properly. Listening is more important. Now let me talk about vocabulary. uh, Few people, not few, but most of the people think that by reading your vocabulary enhances. I'm in no way denying that fact. I definitely agree to this fact, that definitely, if we read, we definitely enhance our vocabulary. But we also we also enhance our vocabulary by listening, right? If you enhance your vocabulary by reading, so you do with uh, listening as well. Don't think you don't improve your vocabulary while listening to English content or any language content. Here I am definitely talking about English only. Our vocabulary gets better with listening also, because most of the times when we listen to the content, most of the new words, we come across many new words and phrases and whatnot, which we are not familiar of, and the same words and phrases also go into our head, which we use eventually, and we get vocabulary, we get new collection of words and phrases from books also, from reading also. I get it. But you know what, the vocabulary, or the words and phrases, words to be specific, vocabulary I'm talking about, the words that we learn from books are the words which most of the times we don't use while speaking. Most of the times we use some words, but not almost all the words. Most of the words that we learn from books are the words that stay in our passive vocabulary, means inactive vocabulary, the vocabulary that we don't use while speaking. But the vocabulary, the words that we get through listening, are the words which we most of the times use while speaking. So the words that we learn through listening become a part of our of our active vocabulary. The words that we actually use, not all the words again, but most of the words. Most of the words that we hear, that we listen to, we end up using those words while speaking. But most of the words that we learn through books, they stay idle in our head. We understand those words, but most of the words we don't use them while speaking. They become a part of our inactive vocabulary, and the words that we learn through listening become a part of our active vocabulary. So now you got the idea that the words that we learn through listening are more important, because we use them while speaking more. And in no way I'm saying that the words we learn through reading are not at all important. No, they're also important, but it's just that they are not that active. We understand them definitely. Our vocabulary increases. So whenever we come across the same word again, we know that, okay, I know the meaning of this word. Why? Because I either heard it somewhere, or I either read it somewhere, and I understand this word. But you will, if you are a bit observant, you will see that the words that you learn through listening, you end up using them more than the words you learn through books. I hope you got the idea, uh, which is more important, whether it's reading or listening. Listening is in no doubt way more important, and it's a non-negotiable thing. If you want to become a speaker of a language, you will have to listen to the language as much as you can if you want to become a speaker or a good speaker of that language. Reading, again, is an optional thing. You can read, you cannot read. I mean, if you can choose to read, or you can choose not to read. But definitely reading is a bonus. It's an add-on thing. It will definitely enhance your language skills. There is no doubt about it. But listening is something which you cannot ignore at all. Reading can be ignored. There are so many people who are illiterate and who speak a particular language, but who are illiterate. They can't read, but they still speak the language. What do you think? All the Americans and all the Australians and Britishers and everybody, whoever lives in a English-speaking country, they all are very literate. They all can read and write. No, they're even in those countries also there are so many people who can't read and write, but they still speak the language, right? How they acquired that language? How they got it? Just by listening. They've listened to the language a lot, and this is the reason why they are able to speak a lot, why they're able to speak effortlessly and freely. That's what I'm trying to say. Listen as much as you can. The more I started to listen to this language, and the more I complemented it with my speaking, the better results I got. Honestly speaking, listen as much as you can, and then speak as much as you can. If we do these two things, we will definitely become a better speaker. This is how I have improved my English. My English is not good at all, I understand that fact, but i have I have come a long way. I had a level where I couldn't speak even a single sentence of English language. I couldn't even introduce myself by even using two or three lines. I had that level. My spoken English was absolutely zero. My grammar was kind of okay, and the grammar that I learned in my school time only. And now, I've almost forgotten entire grammar. I have almost no idea of tenses and whatnot. Nouns, pronouns. If you ask me what is a noun, what is a pronoun, I can't tell you. Maybe I'll have to practice again. Then only I can, come with the fact that, okay, these are nouns, these are pronouns, these are adjectives and whatnot, adverbs and whatever it is. But still, I'm able to at least speak. Still, I can at least have a conversation with someone who understands and speaks English. Grammar is not important. Grammar can be ignored. I'm not saying grammar should be ignored or grammar has no importance at all. I'm not saying this. But what I'm saying is that grammar can be ignored, reading can be ignored, but listening and speaking, these two things can never be ignored if you want to become a speaker of a language. Trust me. I don't know Hindi grammar, Vyakaran as we say. I don't know Hindi Vyakaran. I don't read Hindi. I've never read Hindi, maybe in the last 10 years or maybe even 20 years. I don't remember. Since I left my school, as far as I remember, I have never read any Hindi book or any Hindi content. But still, I speak Hindi every single day. I have been speaking Hindi since my childhood. But of course, if I start reading good Hindi books, and if I put myself into Hindi Vyakaran and things, and if I understand and learn more and more things, my Hindi will get better. But it will get better. These two things, this grammar thing and reading thing, they are not non-negotiables. They are definitely negotiable. They can be ignored. But if I learn them, if I understand them, definitely my language skills will enhance. If my vocabulary gets better, my language will get enriched, it will get better. But they are in no way the most important things. I hope you got something. Let me write it so that I can make a thumbnail of it. Please give me a minute. uh, Grammar and reading can be ignored, right? I hope you got the point. This is why I emphasize way more on listening and speaking. If you do these two things correctly and consistently on an every single day basis, your language is bound to improve. Yeah, definitely. You won't become a fluent speaker in a matter of a couple of months only. Definitely, it's not going to happen. But you will go far away. You'll go far away from your current level. Yeah, I think that's correct. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm already more than 15 minutes, or it's 16 minutes now since I'm in this video. Uh, if you have anything to say, you can put that down into the comments box. And if you want to have a conversation with me, I've left the link in the description and in the pinned comment, so you can check out the links and you can connect with me. You can have a one-on-one conversation with me, just like this. Uh, and yeah, I really hope this video was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.